And we are live. Hello everyone. We are in, me and Sarah and I, we're in my bedroom. It's like a little sleepover party. And we've got our phones set up for live for tonight's How to Manifest Your Best Life. But first I'll introduce Sarah. So together we work at the LV Life Wellbeing Centre, and I've been to one of Sarah's yoga Nidras that she teaches there, and we were just having a nice cup of tea and a chat, and I was just telling Sarah how mainly she could have taught anything. It could have been any class whatsoever, but it was Sarah's energy that brought me to her. And I think that's the most powerful thing when it comes to other coaches and people who are putting themselves out there, and we may have all these questions of I'm not good enough, blah, 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 the ego, the inner critic. But you could be doing anything, but as long as you're focusing on your energy, raising your vibration, putting that healing work in, then people will show up to that. And that's just a credit to you, Sarah, because it was just a beautiful session. And like I said, it could have been absolutely anything, and I know I would have just loved it because of being in your energy. And it was just relaxing, and I learned so much wisdom, mindset tools. I got to slow down, and I wasn't sure with the yoga of, are we going to be doing full-on yoga? Yeah. Normally for me, I'm in my masculine energy, and if I'm going to do some kind of exercise, I'm like, well, the old me is like, go, 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 we've got to stretch, we've got to get lots done. But actually it's very beneficial to go into that feminine energy, rest and flow as well, which you really, really helped me out with. So, yeah, maybe just tell us a little bit about you and what you kind of do and what's involved in it.
Okay. Yeah. So, well, thank you for that. That was very nice. So the Yoga Nidra is a sleep yoga. Obviously, you don't fall asleep. Well, you do fall asleep, because if your body needs to sleep, you will doze off, and that's absolutely fine. But the whole point of Yoga Nidra is to get you into a wakeful state, and in between asleep and awake,
like theta, is it called?
Exactly. Yeah, you're in that wave. I don't know if you've ever woken up before the alarm's gone off, and you're in that, you're cozy, you're comfy, your mind's not going off on one, and you're just in that lovely lull space
for about 3 seconds
usually,
and
before
then
your mind goes on. Yeah,
you've got this to do.
Yeah, all your lists and everything.
Yeah,
but this gets you into that state, and then obviously, and it's a guided meditation in a way.
Yeah,
you just listen to my voice, and I'll guide you round parts of the body. I'll say, focus on your right thumb, your finger, your wrist, and all that lot. And that focusing all those parts of the body stops that monkey mind that's going, and sometimes people say, it can be a bit difficult. But then when you're just listening to my voice and just being guided, where I jump around, your mind's just got, it's like they say, the monks say, if you've got a monkey mind, give it a banana. So and it shuts it up. So whereas when I'm saying about different parts of the body, it's literally shutting the conscious mind up so you can just let go, relax. And then when you're in that deep state, I'll say affirmations, what we call sankalpas, their intentions, and then the subconscious mind is listening to that. And if you keep feeding it positive stuff, that's when you're going to manifest the right stuff. So
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And you're coming into the present when you're focusing in the body.
Yeah.
No problem is ever solved from the place you created it from, this old monkey mind up here.
Yeah.
And especially the first thing when you wake up, I find that to be, and just before bed, to be the most powerful time, because your brain is like a sponge, and it's very moldable. So the minute you wake up, and instead of going off, checking the phone, what have we got to do today, or this needs to get done, just take a small moment to yourself to just be grateful and blessed. Because there's so many things that we could pick up in our lives that are wrong and negative, and we need to be here, and we're not really being present with everything. But when we look for it, we'll always find the positives as well. We'll always have things to be blessed for. And I've found that even in those moments where, do you practice gratitude much?
I'm starting to. Yeah.
Game changer. That's how we'll manifest our best life. But I've found that in those moments, even if I'm really struggling and I'm really low and I can't seem to conjure up the emotion, right? Because we're wanting the emotion, the frequency of that emotion rather than just the words. Okay, yeah, I've got running water and a roof over my head. It's just words, right?
Yes.
But when I do my best to really feel into it, even in those moments where I can't feel it a lot, the moments where I've found those have helped me is when I'm really struggling another time, and I've forgotten all about gratitude at this point, but gratitude comes and hits me in the arse because of all those times I've been practicing it on a consistent daily basis. We don't have to get up and get our big journal out and write loads down. You can if that's something that resonates with you. But for me, I just like to list in my head everything that I'm grateful for every morning. And that will raise your vibration, and those, instead of chasing whatever it is that we're chasing on this journey of this goal that's over here, we're never going to be happy because it's always going to be over here. Even when we get it, what's the next thing? It's actually about just being in this moment and allowing things to be attracted to us. I don't chase, I attract. And we stay present and we raise our vibration through gratitude, through love, through all these different things, being present, accepting what our present moment shows. It is as it is. It's usually our labels to them of it being bad that actually makes it bad, rather than we're going through this because we're leveling up. We need the lessons. We need that awareness to see the pattern. Otherwise, we're going to keep doing this loop of pain and suffering. And you're here for a higher purpose. And the universe won't allow you to be comfortable if you're not on the right path. If it's not meant for you, it will, I always find, make things uncomfortable. So I'm like, oh, all right, I have to change something.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it's always obvious, you know, when the niggle's there, and it's really just about trusting your gut, right?
Yeah. And listening to it. And yeah, because I'm very much like, I'm quite a stress queen. I've always got stuff going on in my head. So the yoga nidra calms me down.
Yeah.
Other practices calm me down. Yeah, the gratitude. And then just, I spoke to you earlier about, I went on a 2-day workshop in London. The Elizabeth Gilbert, who wrote Eat, Pray, Love, and Big Magic. And she, some of the stories some of the women were sharing, it was like, you suddenly think, oh my God, I've got such a blessed life. You know, and I'm thinking, God, I wasn't abused as a child. I've not had violent partners. I've not had horrific illnesses. I've not had, there was so much that, and that's when now the gratitude is coming in, because I'm thinking back to those women, what they shared, and even Elizabeth Gilbert, what she shared, I'm thinking, oh my God.
Yeah.
You sort of think, you're in your own shit quite a, well, I sit in my own shit quite a lot, thinking,
You do, it's comfortable there.
You know,
It's
sort of
nice
victim.
and warm in my pile of poo.
Exactly. And then you look at other people and what they've been through, and you think, oh my God. No, you know, you still have your negative days, you still have your off days and that.
Yeah,
but,
of course.
But sometimes you sort of think, wow, with those people, crikey, that it wakes you up and realise.
Absolutely.
And then it's fueled me to, like, bloody well get out there and live the life that you want.
Nice. I love that. And that, I think that's what it's about. You've used that as a positive experience, whereas someone else coming into it could have been like, oh God, feeling guilty, everyone else has got it worse than me. But no, it's not about comparing. No. It's good that it gave you perspective, because I feel like you were curious with it and interested, rather than coming at it with a judgmental mindset. So it's not about anyone's better or worse. They've got worse problems than me, so who am I to be feeling bad? Because it's still valid to be upset sometimes and to go through grief and low emotions. That's still all valid to feel it. It doesn't make it any lesser because someone's been through a lot worse, but it's nice that it gave you perspective of, oh, actually I am very blessed, because there is so many things to be blessed for in life, and the only way we'll keep manifesting experiences to bring in blessings, bring in abundance, opportunities, all these things, is focusing on raising our vibration and spending a moment or two in those frequencies of love and gratitude. Because if we're in our mind all the time in the past or off in the future, thinking about all these things of worst case scenarios, we're literally bringing that towards us, because your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between reality and visualization. So the more we're focusing on it, the more we're calling it towards us, and we owe it to ourselves, if we're going to conjure up worst case scenarios, to conjure up best case scenarios too. But it's hard for the mind, right, because it's not happened before in the past. So how have we got a reference of something unknown that could be spectacular, but because it's not happened, where do we conjure it up from thin air? But we have to just then have trust and be open-minded to flow with the journey, rather than controlling it and micromanaging our lives, right? Life's gotten better since I've just stepped back and let it flow. And I mean, I'm not saying I'm perfect. I definitely still have some control stuff, but we're learning, right? There's layers to it. And if we had everything we wanted tomorrow, what would we do? We'd be bored, would we not? You know, there's got to be something to work on.
You got to work. You got to work. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Lots of tips and tricks to be able to manifest your best life. But I think people want this magic pill. That magic pill, that one trick. Come on, Hayley, come on, Sarah, give it to us. Give us the magic pill. Well, I'm sorry, we haven't got it. But it is about simplifying things. I found when we come back to the basics, come back to the breath, to presence, to slowing down, calming the nervous system, everything falls into place then. Once you start to fill up your cup, it overflows. We can give in service to other people, our loved ones. They're inspired by us. I know for me, something that makes me the most happy and the most at peace is seeing my loved ones around me happy and healthy. And that could be taken away tomorrow. So I don't want to regret not appreciating this moment with them when we're all just healthy. And obviously, like every family, I don't believe there's one family out there that's not dysfunctional. We have our moments. Trust me, we have our moments. But I think it always makes us stronger, and we learn so much from each other. And the triggers being our own wounds, right? And I'm clenching my teeth like, don't react, respond. Hayley, you're a new person now. This is the old you trying to come back up. And you're fighting with that old version of yourself and the new healing version. And I think just laugh at things sometimes. We make things so serious, right? Everything is this big thing when really life is just a game. And if we let ourselves get bogged down in the seriousness of it and the stresses, we're missing a trick. We really are, because life is here to be enjoyed. And yes, there's going to be tough times, but why can't there be happy times too? And mediocre, balanced times. I think for me it was just rock bottom. I go into overwhelm to burnout, and I've had to start learning where I'm being given signs here, rather than getting to rock bottom. I'm actually recognising the signs here of, okay, you need to level out now, Hayley, ground yourself, rest and restore. But it takes time to start to trust yourself and to trust yourself to open up and show who you are underneath all those masks.
Knowing yourself as well, because I've been very much like when I'm in a high, I'm on an absolute high, and then I'm on an absolute down. And it's just like I want to be just on that level. I don't want to be on this emotional roller coaster all the time. Because I am, like you, I think I saw a video of you saying how you feel emotions deeply. You know, and that's how I am. I feel on a roller coaster of emotion like every day of my life, and it's just like finding those ways. The yoga nidra helps. The breath work helps. You know, I tend to, you go along, and then when everything's leveling out, you're fine. And then you forget all these little tools. It's only when you fall back into it, you go, I need these tools again. I need to use them. And it's getting into that practice of like being in that nice neutral space. So when you're in that neutral space and you've quietened everything down, that's when your real voice start speaking. It really starts speaking. Because I had during lockdown, I did a practice. I started getting up doing yoga because I had the time to do it, and then just going into just doing a little practice of just sitting there in silence. Did a bit of mantra, and then I did that for a few weeks, and then all of a sudden I started having this like these things pop into my head, and I started writing them down. And every day I started writing all this like inspirational stuff, and I literally wrote a book. So it just goes to show, when you are in that quiet space, you can really hear your real voice.
Yeah.
And then it was writing things to me that helping me and put things into perspective and everything like that. So, and obviously I will share that at some point with with the world, but not yet. But
please do.
But it's
divine timing.
Getting into that lovely quiet space, listening to your real inner voice, and then that's when you can make proper sound decisions
and have clarity on it, not all that confusion.
Yeah.
But I think as well, we want to run away from those emotions, because we think of emotions and you think happy, sad, shame, guilt, ecstasy, but there's all the other stuff underneath as well. You get stuck and bogged down in the confusion of things as well. And it's actually about showing that fear is just an illusion, false evidence appearing real, right? Break down the illusion, break down the veils, feel the fear and do it anyway, and then you'll realise the fear never actually existed. And I commend those people who are getting out the comfort zone. Like you said, it took a lot to be like, right, let's just do this yoga nidra. And I know that feeling, because you're putting yourself out there, right? In this world that could judge you and ridicule you and say, who are you to do this and you're not enough. I'm sure we've gone over in our head many times of all the things that could happen. But then who would get to experience your amazing energy and yoga nidra if you didn't gift this to the world and put yourself out there? That's what you've got to say. What you've got to offer is way more important than any insecurities or fears, and it's actually going to help us, especially when we've got spirit, or whatever you guys like to call it, God, source, divine, whatever, or if nothing, all beliefs are welcome here. I feel guided all the time. Without that, I don't know what I'd be doing, because I don't feel alone. And I've often had moments in my life where I've just felt so alone, even in a room full of people, and you can still feel so alone. And it's nice now to be doing this work. What feels that spark in your belly, that's how we manifest our best life, our true life, authentic life that feels good to us, is following what gives you the shivers, the tingles, the butterflies, that spark, that fire in your belly, instead of a mundane thing every day, same thing. That for me, that was never going to be never going to be my life. And you take yourself with you, right? So I know this because I've 9 years in Australia, been travelling all over the world, and you take yourself with you. And I've went out there a different person, come back a different person, but I've brought myself from Australia, who I grew into, back with me. I could have come back into the old ways of depression when I left and suffering, but I'm like, no, I'm still going to go after what lights up my soul, and fire hula hoop and skate and have fun and try and build a business here and get this work out there and help people. And it's really starting to take off, and I feel like that's the universe rewarding you and being like, you're on the right path, we've got your back, keep going. Because you'll have days where you're like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm not qualified for this shit. Who am I? Imposter syndrome, all the stuff. And I just say it's about letting it get messy sometimes. Everyone is walking around here not having a clue. And we're told at 16 you need to know what you're going to be, and you grow up. I still ain't got a clue. And it might change, but right now I've never had as much peace that I've got in my life now. And it's not because I've changed things. Yes, things have changed around me, but it's more so that my perspective have changed, and my awareness has grown. I've got more acceptance of things, and if things go wrong, I'm much more allowing and accepting with them, and able to just be like, okay, it's a hard time right now. I just allow and admit that I'm having this human experience and human emotion, and I'm just going to flow through this the best way I know how. I love the meditation, the breathwork, the tapping therapy, the dancing, the singing, and sometimes just pulling a cover over my head and just hiding myself away from the world. Whatever, a nice bath, whatever works for you. There's not one shoe fits all, right?
Exactly.
But it's great. It's great to bring this stuff to the world and to the UK for sure. It's exciting.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And you live life, and I've been to Hayley's ecstatic dance, and I highly recommend it.
Every single one since they started.
Since they started, every single one, and it's the highlight of my month. It really is, because Hayley holds a really fantastic space. Again, like with your energy, you want to see her. She's body slamming on the floor.
The
and
worm,
she's
I
doing
did the worm
That's
last
it. And she's just
went all out.
totally. You are totally your 100% self and loving it. And then when your first time that you're there, I've always loved dancing, and in my own style and stuff.
Yeah.
But then when you're in there and you've got other people and you're all a bit like, oh la la, you're all a bit self-conscious.
Yeah.
And then by the end of the evening, guaranteed, I'm leaping around like a nutter.
Everyone
and I don't care.
loose. It's the best.
It is, and the music just ramps up and it. Because when I came the last time, I'd had quite a long week at work. And I was knackered, and I was thinking, no, I'm not going to go. And I was thinking, no, just go. Something kept saying, don't, just go. And just, he said, even if you're just swaying from side to side or doing a bit of chair dancing, it doesn't matter. But then by the end of the evening, the right music, all the energy, I was just leaping around like a nutter, and I absolutely, and like I was pirouetting. And it took me back to a time in my childhood where I remember it was a summer evening. I was a huge fan, Fame fan, and I had the cassette tape back when. I'm showing the age now. And I had that on my cassette player in the garden, and we had like a family party. My mum and dad used to do lots of different parties and stuff. It was probably might have been my mum's birthday, and I can remember just playing this music and then just twirling around in the garden, just in my own little world, and then turning around and out the French doors there was a lot of my family just watching me, and I was a bit like, but I was just in my own little world, and it really took me back to that time. And it was just like, when you're a kid, you're in that happy place, and it was just like, wow, I reconnected with that memory.
I love that.
And I was just like, I just feel so great. And I was just like, just go with the music and just flow. And I was like, wow, I haven't done that since I think I was about 10 years old.
I love that. Because it's difficult for people to fully let go, especially when you're in the presence of other people there. You wouldn't necessarily dance how you dance when you're on your own at home. Right? You're very aware. Eyes are on you. People are watching what's going on, who's doing what. Yeah. That's why I make it a bit of a conscious effort to just fully let go. And I never know how I'm going to show up to these events. I could be having a day where I'm lacking energy or whatever, and I might need to help move through something as well and be a bit low. But like you said, even if you're feeling like that, you just bounce off the energy of everyone in the room, and music is so powerful too. It's a beautiful event and amazing to have your energy there anyway. But I reckon, I don't know how long we've been going for, but I reckon that's a good point to end it on. Maybe just recap. So the first poster we put on was how to create a life you don't need a holiday from, or don't want to escape to. And this popped into my head because I realised last week, in a few days I'm going on holiday. I'm going to the Isle of Wight. I know I'm not jetting off to New Zealand or somewhere on a plane, but it's still a nice holiday. And I just had no thoughts about it. I just normally 10 years ago or whatever, and I'm working this 9-to-5 job, or for someone else, I'd be counting down the days until the weekend, until this holiday. And I just had this moment of like, my God, I've created this life where I actually don't need a holiday from it. And when the holidays come, like, that's brilliant, but it's not something that I'm wishing away my life to be able to be in this other space. And that's when I realised, that is actually amazing. And no, I'm not where I want to be, but having that realisation in that moment of actually I'm pretty happy and pretty at peace, and I've created and manifested this. And if I can do anything to help other people to do that, I really want to do so. And it is really about spotting the loops of when it's getting uncomfortable, when the same pattern keeps reoccurring. We become aware, but I think awareness can be a blessing and a curse, because then you're aware of all this old programming, things that our parents have taught us, beliefs that are blocking us, all this stuff. And then all of a sudden that you're like, for my spiritual awakening, it happened overnight, and all of a sudden I'm like, the fuck is going on? What the fuck? Help me. I don't know what to do with this new awareness. And now I'm seeing everything clearly, but I'm still ingrained and stuck in these old ways. I can see it, great, but how do I rewire that now? And that's the part we've got to be patient and compassionate with ourselves with. Calling in that acceptance, presence and simplifying. Always coming back to love and gratitude. They're probably the best tips I can give for manifesting your best life. Being in the present moment as if you chose it. Any last tips before we head on?
Can't think of anything. It's just like, just really listen to yourself inwards. We're always looking. I held up my hand.
Yeah, same.
You know, always looking out, was reading another self-help book, listening to another podcast, doing this, doing that, asking somebody's opinion, and then all of a sudden, and you've got all this stuff going on in your head, and you just got to like go, well, thank you all for that. Let it go. Sit quietly. Go within as best you can. I do a lot of journaling and just see what comes up. And usually, if you don't think about it, whatever comes up is usually the way forward. And I'd say just, getting into your real self and listening to your intuition and that inner voice. That's a really powerful thing, and trusting it.
Yeah, it's the trusting it part that took me a little bit of time.
Yes.
And keep noticing when I'm off in thought and off in stories. And I actually just imagine and visualise like this ball coming down from bringing my awareness into the heart, coming back into the body every time. And just being like you said, actually speaking to those parts, because you've got the ego, the inner critic, all these. I'm having conversations with myself all day long with each part of myself, and looking at them as perhaps to disassociate from the emotional charges. That's outside of me. Oh, hi ego. I've got one inner critic called Patricia. I'm like, you can head on now, Patricia. You're not welcome here anymore. We're choosing self-love today, remember? But just like you say, having a conversation with them. Letting them know that actually I'm leading from the soul today. I'm going to learn, because if you can't, if trust in your intuition is not believable right now and is unattainable, affirmations of I'm learning to trust myself. I'm learning to love myself. And then we get there a little bit better because it's actually more believable to imprint that belief rather than a belief that's like, no, I actually hate myself. So how can I go from hating to loving?
Exactly. Yeah, you can't with affirmations. You do have to be careful because you're lying to yourself and it's not good. You've got to pick the affirmations that resonate with you and hit. Because they say, oh fake it till you make it. But I think,
act as if. That was a manifestation technique, wasn't it?
And it's just like, I don't quite agree with that. It's just like, pick an affirmation that, it's like, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that, or I'm, because I say, oh, you believe as if you've got it now. And mine was very much like, well, I haven't got it now, so how can I believe in it? So I'm heading towards, I'm manifesting towards that, and you just being careful with those affirmations.
I'm learning to see myself as worthy so that I'm attracting these new opportunities and blessings. Like altering the words, because your words are powerful, and if they're not believable, then your subconscious mind's just going to be like, nah.
That the subconscious mind, it obeys everything you say. So if you're telling yourself, you're a crap person, that's how you're going to feel all the time. Even though you're not a crap person, that's how you're going to feel. Whereas if you're like, I'm learning to love myself. And the affirmation that took me a long time to agree with is I love and approve of myself. That's a nice, strong, that took me a while. But or I love and accept myself as I am, and I'm like, no, I don't. I want to evolve into a better person. That didn't resonate with me. So it's like, I do love and approve of myself, Sometimes you slip off and, you don't. But then you come back to it. So,
And I think that's, as well, using the word I'm committed rather than I'm trying. I think trying gives us an excuse to be like, oh, well, I tried and I couldn't do it, so whatever. But committed means, okay, I slipped up, but I'm committed, so I'm going to get back on the saddle the next day. And then if I muck up again, tomorrow's a new day, and because I'm committed, I'm going to keep going at this. But try, it's just an excuse.
That was my thing. I'm trying. Even my husband pick up, oh, you're always trying. And I'm like, now it's just like, I'm aiming.
Yeah, that's good.
And it's totally the game changer. I'm aiming to do that. And and if you do, I'm one of these people, I have rigid way. I'm like, I'm going to do this, and then if I fall off the wagon, if I don't do that exercise routine, I don't do this perfectly, I like give up. I'm like, oh, you know. Whereas now it's just like, I tried, yeah, that's it. Oh, whereas if you like, I aim to do that, okay, you do it, and then if you have done it and you keep going, then you do fall off. Yeah, don't beat yourself up.
Yeah, forgiveness, especially for ourselves. We're always holding on to shit for ourselves. Like,
we can forgive everybody else, but when it comes to ourselves,
and give the best advice to everyone, and then taking it ourselves. What the hell happens there? It's crazy.
Yes.
Oh, I was going to say one more thing. It's gone. I was really excited to say it, but I was like, no, be present in the moment, Hayley, listen, and then it goes. But if it's meant to come back, it will come back. Yeah. Oh, that was it. Another game changer. So, you know, you have a to-do list. I don't know if anyone else keeps a to-do list, right? I used to write every day to-do list. But the smallest hack for me has been incredible. I've just changed the words to do to I get to do. And I know that seems... What's the big deal with that, Hayley? It has changed everything for me. I go into it more excited. I'm like, I actually get to do this today, rather than looking at it like... I've got all these things to do. Yeah. Well, they're going to get done anyway. I'd rather get them done from a place of putting good energy into it all. And if I'm going to have to clean and things, and I'm not a massive fan of cleaning, like, how do I make that fun for myself? Put the music on, have a dance. Exactly. It doesn't have to be horrible and stressful. Every moment can be just more breezy. But I found we're in this world of like, go, 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 go. Yeah. Come on, get out of the house. Let's go, go, go. And it's like... I get caught up in it, and I can watch people around me doing it, and I'm like, I will not let them steal. I will not let the outside chaos steal my zen. Sometimes I want to run off into a spiritual community and just live in the forest with just animals. And but then I just think, oh no, I quite like my warm bed and the house over my roof over the head. But
you've got to be of what is it, in the world but not of it.
Yes, that's the one. Chaos is always going to go on, but not letting it steal your inner peace. But I find I'm like, okay, just breathe through this. We're going through a lesson, a test. And someone said recently to me, the teacher's always silent during a test. So sometimes when you're like, God, why won't you help me, please? Where are you? And there's just silence, and you may not in those moments find, you know, Hayley and Sarah said, go into the body, go into the heart. And there's still a little bit of turmoil and chaos going on. Maybe it's the water needs to settle. When it's boiling, you can't see much through it, right? So then often in divine time, and the lessons will come through, and they might not be in the conventional sense of a voice in your head just told you and you knew. Signs, synchronicities, lots of ways that we can be given messages that we're divinely guided and protected, and I love choosing to believe in that anyway. It helps me get through the day anyway.
I believe that.
But I reckon there's some good tips to go on to leave it there. And thank you to anyone who joined the live and anyone who jumped on the recording. We couldn't do this work without you guys, so we're really grateful for all of your support.
Thank you.
See you later.